got up early Friday morning, and we were only like less than 10 minutes away from Woolen Folk. Literally less than 10 minutes away. But because of parking, which we knew was going to be a debacle, we left early. So Woolen Folk started at 12 o'clock. We left the house around 10:30. We got to the area around 10:45 because of traffic. And then we had to find parking. We ended up parking to a block from the actual street that the event was on, and then 3 blocks away from the intersection. So we had to walk about 4 blocks to and from. Sarah had to do it with a freaking pumping book bag, and that thing was not light. So kudos to you, girl, because like I don't think I had went, but that day my breast would have been hurting, and baby may not have gotten his milk that day because and it was raining. And it was raining off and on. It would rain, and then it would pour, and then it would drizzle, and then it would pour. Like literally, it stopped a few times, but then it started right back. Like it was ridiculous. So we held up in this cafe called Willa, which was super nice. You could see the back part of the building in which we were in, or supposed to be in, because Woolen Folk was supposed to be an indoor festival. And I know y'all have heard the shenanigans about Woolen Folk, and I'm going to put my 2 piece in because it was a hot mess. Woolen Folk was supposed to be indoors. We did pay early bird pricing. I think we bought our tickets in July-ish? No, I think it's June, because we bought our Rhinebeck tickets in July. So here June, you told us we was going to be at the Orchard, which we was looking forward to. And the reason why we couldn't go back to the previous location was because somebody had planned a wedding. COVID effed it up. And so they rebooked their wedding for that weekend, that day. So we couldn't get the Hudson Shipyard, Metal Yard, or wherever it was out last year. And then it started raining. So you had the fact that now we have to change venues, and it started raining. Now, some people was like, I don't know why we had to change venue 2 weeks before the event happened. And then the rumors started to come out. One of the rumors is she didn't get the permit needed to have this event at the Orchard. So here in the state of Texas, you cannot have a yard sale in your yard that you pay taxes and property taxes and mortgage for. You can't do it. You need a permit from the city to say, yes, I am going to have a yard sale at my address at this time, and then you have to do it in a timely manner. You can't do it the day before the yard sale. I think that's what happened with her. She did not put her permit in a timely fashion, but then 2 weeks before the before the event, you change venues. And then you change venue to an 82,000 square feet building. Tell me why we were outside if it's 82,000 square feet. I'll wait. That was just ridiculous. We didn't get no music, because last year they had music. They had food, they had alcohol. They had 5-6 food trucks. They had cookies. They had places to sit and chit chat. They had the grassy area for the podcaster patio. We had space and opportunity. That weekend, we did not have space, and there was no opportunity. The opportunity we had was to get trapped or tinkle all over ourselves. Like it was all of the things. It was horrible. So the security guard Let's talk about that. He was a straight douchebag. We all were supposed to pull up our little tickets, get our tickets scanned, get a wristband. People had a wristband from, I guess, the night before, because she had a Thursday preview that people paid like $200 to $250, in which some vendors didn't even get any sales. Some people didn't get a chance to do what they were supposed to do, eat dinner or whatever, because the grounds were messy from the rain. Somebody tripped and fell. So the security guard is telling us we all need to line up. So we walk down and we walk and we walk, and now we're curving around the parking lot around these cars. Okay, great. So we're standing in line, and then the line starts moving, and then we see people scanning people, but they're stopping people to scan people instead of saying, you go to the next person, have that person up there scan you. You go to the next person, have that person up there scan you. And then you have the security guard who's yelling and screaming directions, and he don't know what the flip he talking about. At one point, I'm just saying. And we had two people in front of us who had bands on. And he was like, well, if you got a band on, you can come around here. And it was like, but we have band on. And you told us we need to go stand in line. So which one is it? So then we get closer to the line, and he's like, y'all need to come on this side. So then people start getting out of the line. And then he go, no, don't get out of the line. Then what the flip you want us to do? You want us to skip the person that's getting scanned in their wristband so they can go to the next person? Say that. The people who was helping with this event, rude AF. The face they gave you was rude. The tone in which they gave you the face, rude. I don't know who these people is. But that alone should have had me turn around, and it didn't. Because I wanted to see who was there. I had a lot of people I wanted to see. And I didn't get to see almost nobody. Well, I won't say that. I didn't get to see half of the people I wanted to see. And then some people who I did saw didn't even know they were coming. So either way. Anyways. It was overcrowded, as everybody already said. My friend Shannon, y'all might know her as Minerva Turkey. She used to have a podcast I pay on the tubes, and then she cut back because of, personal and health issues. Well, she came to Rhinebeck in Wollenfolk, and she's in a motorized chair because she has some disabilities. And she was trying to find the elevator in a 2-story building. She was trying to find the elevator. We didn't even know there was an elevator. We had no idea who was in what building, where they were, and who was in the tents, because we had no map. We had no map. If you didn't look on the website, which apparently in itself was a shit show, we didn't know who really was going to be there unless we had saw them on the Wollenfolk spotlight post that she was making, like from August to September. No map. So then she looked at me and was like, hey, do you know where the elevator is? I was like, not at all. I didn't even know this building had an elevator. So I helped her find people who could possibly help her. And guess what? Nobody could help her because they didn't even know if the building had an elevator. And the building did not have an elevator. It was the building with the 5 floors that had the elevator, not the building that we was in. So my first booth I visited was Teal Torch, and it was nuts in that building. And I looked at her and said, I did not volunteer for tribute. What are we doing? So then we scrambled. Lamb Kid was in the same building or the same floor as when I walked in. Saw godmother Gigi and saw her daughter Shelby. Nice to meet y'all. They probably don't watch this, but I'm saying hi anyways. And then you try to get around the corner to go up the stairs, which was this big. And what's that guy name? Les Garns. I just saw his name, Max the Knitter. His yarn booth is at the end of the steps in front of the exit sign, right next to the bar. So then I look at the lady coming down the steps with a drink in her hand. I think it was like a soda. I don't know. And I was like, well, how do we get upstairs? And she was like, this way. I was like, are you serious? So I have this big old bag. Oh, mind you, and we got an email like 2 days before the event saying that we couldn't bring book bags. So I brought my Le Pompilion. I don't know. I'll show y'all. Oh, it's right here. I'll just show it to you now. So I brought this bag with me. And it was just as big as my book bag. But I carried it on one shoulder. So I'm trying to go upstairs to get to the vendors upstairs. And I see 2 vendors standing along the like banister of the upstairs, right above the bar. How am I supposed to get over there? Y'all don't see me. I's a thick girl. Ain't nothing on this body don't curve out. What y'all expecting me to try to get in that booth? And then once you walk into the upstairs area, Madeline Tosh on your left hand side, big, bad, and proud. Guess what? I see Madeline Tosh all the time. I don't want to see you. And then we go over here and we see other companies. I saw the jewel designs, the things that you put the notions on the cows or the whatever, and you can like button them and stuff. I saw that. Had nothing I wanted, which was fine. I saw the company that was selling some, not leather, but like some kind of hat. They were selling like, what's the name of the hat? Not berets. Fedora type hats. They look bomb. One of them was mint green, and I was sure ready to grab that hat, but not for $350. I said black girl. I don't want that hat. So, but I got my head measured, so I know my head is 23 inches and 3/4 around. Your girl got a big head. My daddy ain't named Tank for no reason. Like, we got big heads. It's okay. But I will find another hat because that thing was just way too expensive. And then I got stuck. Because people were trying to come in from the front and we were trying to go out. I got stuck. But I did say hi to Miss Sophia. She's one of 4 of the Knitters League podcasts. I was like, I know your name and I know you're from the Knitter League podcast, but I don't remember it. And she was like, Sophia. And I was like, oh, yay, I'm sorry. She was like, what you sorry for? You didn't remember. It's okay. So we walked out. Sorella was sitting on like the balcony. It had started raining. Pretty sure her stuff got wet. Just saying. It was bound to happen. Walked down to the tents to go see who was in the tent. And we were looking for one person in particular, Sarah was. And the lady standing under the podcaster like tent just twiddling her fingers said, did you scan the QR code? Do I look like I want to scan the QR code? And then when we scan the QR code, it just tells us this person's in this tent. This person's on this floor. This person's in this tent. Where are these tents located? They didn't have a sign that said this is the back left tent. This is the back right tent. This is the building where you find building A. This is building B. What? So we just happened to walk out of the tent and looked to my right, and lo and behold, a whole door opened and said, 5th floor vendors this way. Literally. With a poster board with sparkles around the border. I slipped on the mud because it was pooling. Like, The rain was horrendous. It was ridiculous. Cesium Yarn, CESIUM Yarns, ran by a wife and wife duo, was next to Terrapin Fiber. Their booth got rained on, rained in, rained out. They had makeshift plastic bag, garbage bag, like gutters trying to like create water to flow a certain way. Still got rained out. You had people like Yarnaceous and Fangirl Fibers and somebody else. They all shared this long booth on a brick platform. Two ladies almost bust their ass. Sarah caught one of them. Frogget Yarns, which is a truck. I know y'all know Frogget Yarns is in the truck and their yarns all in the truck. They were literally in the middle of a rain puddle. People didn't know how they were going to get to it. And then to go into the 5th floor and be smashed into people's back because you got a line waiting on the elevator that only allows maybe 2 people at a time. And then if you have someone on a motorized wheelchair or whatever like that to try to get upstairs, they can only go once. You can only get on. And then the elevator moves so slow, it's ridiculous. And then I happened to see Caleb from the Bearded Pearl in the Willens and Nosh booth. I was so excited that I was like, oh my God, you did not come all the way from, I think I said he lived in Sweden. And he was like, Switzerland. I was like, oh, the neutral country. Okay, got it. Got a picture with him. Saw that his bag was in the booth. Bought a bag from him. I should probably no, I'm not going to show it yet. Because I'm bitching about Woolen Cove. And I want them to be happy. Anyways, so then tried to go see Magpie Fibers. Because they were in the corner. Didn't know they were in the corner. Until I smashed my way through it with my bag. And then come to find out they were in front of the bathroom, which I was looking for. But I was like, I'm not going to go in the bathroom. No, I didn't have to do number 2, but still, like, I didn't want to go in the bathroom. Turned around, and apparently I missed Dragon Horde, Yarn Cafe Creation, and Sinful Yarn, because I guess they were on the other side of the room that I never made it to. I found the steps. We walked upstairs. We walked up 4 flights of stairs. 4. To get to the 5th floor. And between those 4 flights of stairs, there were 2, 3, and 4 floors that had nobody in it. Nobody. So those studios that were empty could have fit those people that were out in the tent. Just saying. It could have. I don't know why it didn't. So then we came down. We saw everybody upstairs. I was so hot. Like I had to stay, and I didn't have a napkin or nothing with me, but I was so hot, y'all. I was so hot. It was ridiculous. Got to see my friend over in Robin's Promise yarn booth. Bought some yarn from them. Saw somebody where we bought buttons from. I forgot the name of the company. Trick stuff. Anyways, I'll figure it out. And then we went to walk down the flight of steps. And right on the 2nd floor is where we just went through the emergency exit. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I am so glad that there was no electrical fire. Nobody decided to light up a cigarette because they were assholes. Because if we needed to get out for a fire, we would have all died. We would have or seriously been injured. That's how crowded it was. and it was unnecessary. It didn't need to be like that. The rumor is 3,000 plus tickets were sold. At some point I saw 5,000. I don't know if 5,000 people was there, but I can tell you there was a lot of people there. There was no way that we paid $35 a pop, and some people who bought their tickets that day, so they were paying anywhere from $50 to $65 a pop, that we should have experienced that. We should not have. I paid less for a concert ticket like almost a month ago. I paid like $30 for a concert ticket, and they had cut the ticket number at 250, 300 because the building in which they were having this concert couldn't hold that much people. Why didn't you limit the amount of tickets that were being sold? If we were in an open orchard, 5,000 would have been fine. But we were in a building. Should have did better. And you know what hurts me the most? That it's a black woman that organized this. And no, I'm not going to make this a race issue. But it kind of is a race issue. Because, especially black women, we have to be better. We have to hold ourselves higher than our white counterparts. And I'm sorry, but I don't know if she's going to be able to come back from this. We as in our black community put so much pressure on our black people that we have to be better. We have to do better. We need to know better. We have to act better. We have to look better. This was not a good look for her. If she doesn't get someone to logistically help her out next year, she ain't coming back from this. I mean, I heard India and Tango was a shit show one year too. And yet they managed to turn it around. I don't know how they did it. I'm not in their back pockets. I'm not in on their office meeting. I don't know. But she needs help. She needs a lot of help. Her sponsors could have helped her. But who were her sponsors? We didn't find that out until like day 2 or 3 after the event happened. And I sat and watched Lola Bean and Jimmy the Model on Instagram Live going in because people were going in on them talking about how they needed to do this and they needed to do this. Listen, I am not that woman's keeper. That is not my place. That's not my place. So I don't blame Adela and Jimmy going in because they should have. Because they got to keep their name not even clean. But like, don't associate me with that. I didn't do that. Because if I put on the event, I as in Lola Bean Yarn Co., my shit gonna be T's crossed and I's dotted. And that's a friend of hers. Like, come on. That's gotta be heartbreaking. Gotta be heartbreaking. And I personally don't suffer from any disabilities or anything like that, but just the sheer or any anxiety or I live with a husband that got PTSD. I'll tell you right now, don't be breathing down my neck. You don't do that. Don't run up on me. Don't do none of that. I tell my friends all the time, you can't be just running up on black people. But if you see me running, you better run and ask questions later. You hear what I'm saying? Just saying. But that was crazy. I don't know how she's gonna come back from that, but she needs to come back from that. Because that festival it was such a good festival last year. But this year, I don't know. Everything about this year when it came to Rhinebeck and Willing Folk was off. We didn't go to Cake Palooza. We didn't go to India Untangled, which I had major FOMO watching Natalie of Nitty Natty talking about Cake Palooza and India Untangled because they had stuff there that I like. Some of the people who was there, I was just like, oh, I'm okay not seeing them. But seeing what they had, FOMO all day. Then I wanted a Black Pearl magic bag because I got two in Who Needs More, this girl. And then I missed her little pre-order thing yesterday because I was at work. Everything about Womenfolk is just... So if and when we decide to go back again, which is not next year, I probably won't be doing Womenfolk until I can hear that some things have been changed and been better. She needs a board. She needs people to tell her the ins and outs of accommodations for disabled people, whether they are physically handicapped or mentally handicapped, and not as in, mentally, like anxiety, psychologically handicapped. I'll say that. She needs advisors. She need a fire marshal. She need advisors, and she needs some decent help when it comes to running that shit show, because that was a shit show. Period. So although I said I was going to do all of Rhinebeck in this video, I don't think so. I think I'm gonna leave that at that. Womenfolk didn't deter me from Rhinebeck, but it left a sour taste in my mouth. And again, I feel like she needs to put out some decent apologies. I also didn't like the fact that this community was demanding people to talk about their experience. Who gave you that pitchfork? Like, where in your knitting community or fiber community manual said that you needed to be the person to bring people to justice? Like, no. If this person didn't want to speak, that person ain't got the right to speak. That's why we live in America. They speak when they're ready. Some people process things differently. I go off emotions sometimes, and I learned from being married to my husband that you just sometimes need to sit back, watch, listen, and learn, then give your perspective. And so that's what I did. I sat back and I watched. I watched everybody who was ready to come out and say what they needed to say what they had to say. And I was like, you know what? You ain't lie, girl. It sure did happen. It did. So I'm gonna need y'all to stop putting so much pressure on these people. Yes, they are in they're in social media, they are in your face, they are producing a product, but they still human. They still people, they still feel. And if I don't feel like doing it, I ain't doing it. Period. So, as some people say, take that to your grave. That just made me so mad. I'm gonna leave that right there. Y'all look out for my Rhinebeck video.